regular scheduled board meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Pontiac School District. Thank you for coming this evening. Madam Secretary, roll call.
Trustee Bowman,
Present.
Trustee Kraft,
Present.
Trustee Davis Smith,
Present.
I'm present, Trustee Gross,
Present.
Trustee Miller, and Trustee Terry.
Present.
Thank you.
You have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Can we all rise, please, for the pledge of allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to make an adjustment to the agenda, if I may. The actual minutes were not placed into the packet on Thursday, so I'm making a recommendation, a motion, that we remove the minutes from this meeting to approve and add them on to our board governance meeting on August the 10th. Can I have a motion?
Support.
Moved by Secretary Dooley, supported by Trustee Bowman. Question, concerns, or comments? Hearing none, roll call.
Trustee Kraft,
Yes.
Trustee Davis,
Yes.
Trustee Dooley, I'm voting yes. Trustee Gross.
Yes.
Trustee Miller, Trustee Terry,
Yes.
and Trustee Bowman.
Yes.
6-0.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Recognition of, there's no awards or of recognition at this time, and hopefully do so because the superintendent is not going to return until August 10th, and hopefully he'll be here for the board governance meeting. With that, recognition of elected officials. Seeing none in the audience, I wanted to say to the Board of Trustees, thank you for your phone calls and your suggestions when I spoke with you about having this meeting this evening. I think it's very important that we're here for the business of the district. And although the superintendent is not here, as it was stated, and I'm going to restate, this is a meeting of the Board of Trustees. So I appreciate all of you for being a part of this and being here. And I know this is what they call summer vacation season, but the board is always working. So I want to say thank you for being here this evening. And I do want to recognize that former board president, Gil Garrett, is here in the audience. Thank you, sir, for your attendance. Thank you. With that, now that the agenda has changed, we're now moving down to regular work and agenda, board concerns. I had the opportunity to speak with each of you and talk about some of the issues and concerns that you have, that you would like to discuss here at tonight's meeting. Ms. Trustee Miller was here. She also had some important issues that she also wanted to discuss. She is here. Thank you. Thank you, Trustee Miller, for arrival. So as you get yourself prepared, before we go into board concerns, I wanted to say thank you to the administration members who are here and those who I asked to be invited. Dr. Devison, Ms. Dixon, Mr. Beasley, and T, as well as Catherine is here, and Mr. Holcomb. Thank you for your attendance this evening. I know the superintendent is not here, but I appreciate you making yourselves a part of this meeting this evening. I think it's very important because there could be some questions that may come your way, and I ask that you make yourselves available while you're here to do so. Good evening, Trustee Miller. Thank you for your attendance.
Good evening, trustees.
Thank you for your attendance. We're now down to board concerns. The minutes was removed because they were not put into the board packet and give everyone the opportunity to read them. And we'll revisit that at our board governance on August the 10th. Now, when I say board concerns, I know each of you have some concerns or things that you want to discuss. But I created some concerns that I wanted us to discuss, which I think is on your individual agenda. And first, I want to deal with the elephant in the room. And the first concern that I have is the situation with our superintendent. And I guess I'll start it off.
Well, I know Trustee Miller has concerns. You had concerns. My concern was
we have to do business as a board.
That's
We
correct.
can't stop doing business, and we only have one employee technically on paper. And that one employee shouldn't have the autonomy to tell us we can't have a meeting or reschedule a meeting based off public opinion and based off we have to do the business for the district, and we have to make sure our community understands that we're being fully transparent. So to miss a meeting due to the state of where the district is right now, I think that is us failing as board members to say we really do need to take a look in the deep dive and how much work we have to do to establish a real senses of progress around here. And we have to set expectations high, and that starts with our one employee. And I'm very disappointed that we had to go through the channels to have this meeting, because if not, we wouldn't have had it if things were otherwise. But I think this is a good example or a good opportunity for us as a board to set expectations and set a standard for things not to go below this, and to always put ourselves in a position where we don't have these issues.
Trustee Bill. I didn't. Oh, no. Okay, yeah. This is
Okay.
board concerns. We're going to
Okay.
deep dive into
All right, I
what we
got
need
it.
to discuss.
Okay, I'm gonna stay on topic with our one employee, and it continues to baffle me how we are responsible for one person in a school district, but yet and still, I'm gonna say I continuously have to hear things through social media. As far as our superintendent, as a woman, she has the right to seek other opportunities, and that's from one woman to another. I encourage you if you want to further yourself in your career. But as a trustee, I have to answer to my boss, which is the people in the community that put us in this seat, and we are her boss. So doing business, like Trustee Bowman said, we have to, what is our succession plan? How many times are we going to be bombarded and blindsided with an interview before we say, okay, superintendent, you made it blatantly obvious that you don't want to be here. So when is this board going to make the next moves to get someone here who wants to be here? That should be the priority. It's not up for negotiation. Our superintendent did not have a conversation with this board, with this trustee, I will say. But yet and still, how many times we gonna let it be slapped in our face that, hey guys, I don't want to be here? What is an update on what needs to be done? Where are we at with the reimagine? Where are we at with things that for our student staff and our community, our teachers? If our it could be assumed that our superintendent is busy preparing for interviews, but how much preparation has been put into this district? That's my concern. But as a woman, hey, I encourage her to do whatever she needs to do. But as a trustee, we got to move on with business for the best of this district, which is, you don't want to be here? Okay. You've shown us that. I don't care what you say, you've shown us that. And that's okay.
VP.
So I'm gonna chime in real quick. And I know we all kind of speaking as a individual and not necessarily a board as a whole. And I do want to note that for the record, the superintendent is usually not allowed, or should I say is not allowed to cancel that meeting. The discussions that went on was pretty much based off the board president. So she really had nothing to do with that, even though she's on vacation. If there's a standing meeting, then it's up to the board president to make that decision. So that does not fall back on the superintendent, and the superintendent does not have that authority to cancel our board scheduled meetings. Second, I also want to note that in regards to information that might be received out there in the media and everything as well, I'm in agreement that yes, everyone has their right to go out and look for new employment, right? And we've had our experiences pretty much the last year or two, I want to say, with a lot of back and forth with individual board members, with boards as a whole. And I know no individual is perfect, right? But if you don't feel that security and you don't have that, I guess you want to say, support from your own AKA board which is a team of 7, okay? And we're not giving that support or that feeling that we want you to be here and we trust you and we want you to continue to push forward with this district, then me personally, my own self, I would have an issue with that. Just with my own employment, you know, if I'm feeling uncomfortable there and there's any kind of reasons or any kind of pushback, negativity, blame, whatever the case may be, with all of that negativity, you almost got to start asking yourself, do they really want me here? And I've never heard that come out of my superintendent mouth, that she does not want to be here. And I know there's lots of opportunities out there. I just want to be clear that there's a lot going on right now within the state of Michigan and pretty much across this country with superintendents. There's a shortage, okay? There's a shortage. So we need to keep that in mind as well. We have a superintendent here. Her reviews have been good. There's been some other issues, I guess you want to say, beside the work-related issues that I don't feel should necessarily hold us or keep us from having those discussions in regards to moving forward or keeping the superintendent in position. But at this point, there's no guarantee and there's no certainty from this board that she wants to be here or we want her to be here. I know I'm only speaking for myself, but as a team in dealing with the board and knowing how the board has been moving and operating, we've caused a lot of employees or a lot of staff to not really want to be here. They're uncomfortable, whatever the case may be. It's uneasy. It's not a good work environment. So when people are out looking for new jobs, no, they really don't have to tell us if they're out looking for a new job. Now that would be a courtesy thing, but there's nowhere in the contract saying that you have to do that. There's nowhere. But if you have uncertainty and you have doubt on where your next career path is going to be, I'm not asking you to wait to the last day or the last few months and then decide if that's where you want to move, or you get there and then all of a sudden we decide at that point that we want to go in a different direction. And it makes that employee feel a little uncomfortable. So I'm speaking just as myself, as my individual trustee, because I can't speak for the whole board, right? But from my understanding, with the reviews that she didn't had and the trials and tribulations and the struggles, we've had pluses and we have negatives. Okay, there's plenty of information out there regarding the Reimagine. We've been informed with a lot of that information with the Reimagine. There's details out there. There's weekly minutes that get put out for the board to read and get information and be updated on the Reimagine program. So for myself, that needs to be a separate topic if we decide as a board if we're going to continue with that employment with our current superintendent or not. But I don't believe that's necessarily for a topic of discussion here in the public meeting, but it could be, because I don't believe we specifically discussing AKA the contract.
We're not.
Okay, so that's just my point of view. From one individual trustee, I have no issues with the current superintendent. And I'm hoping we can continue to push forward with or without. And then also, not just currently, but we also need to keep in mind the next few steps, the next 6 months, the next year. We need to keep that in mind. We've been through that phase already where we haven't had a superintendent and we had to have an interim superintendent. So we need to keep that in mind also if we decide to start this search process. Who's going to fill in for the superintendent position? We need to keep that in mind as well. So thank you.
Trustee Duke, Secretary Duke.
My concern would be having to address issues that I have no answer to. And the one would be our superintendent. I received information regarding her interviewing, and that's the third interview that I've received information, and we've talked about it. So I would have to differ with VP Terry in the event that's indicative that she's looking for employment. And of course, everybody wants a job and you want to cover yourself. So we're in a catch-22 here. She's seeking employment. That's her third interview. So does she want to be here? And then we also know her contract is up at the end of this school year. So we as a board, we do have to make a decision as to how we're going to proceed. What I would like to happen, we must have that candid conversation with our one employee, but we also have to be proactive in setting ourselves up to be in a position to seek nationwide. It's no secret. I went on record when I was hired by being voted in. I did not give her a vote of confidence. I would have done it last year. So for the record, the demonstration that she's presenting, going to seek additional employment, is very indicative that she's ready to leave.
Thank you. Treasurer Davis Smith.
I myself, as one trustee, I feel what Trustee Terry said is has some truth to it, that she may not feel confident in us, as some of us does not feel confident in her. But what my concerns is that she has now put this reimagine in the works, and we out here without some certainties, like my issues with the busing system, and our parents are already removing their children because they have no real, they're not getting any real understanding on where their children are going to be placed and things like that. So with that information of her looking for other employment, it doesn't only make us feel that she has no confidence in us. It also makes our community feel the same way, that they have no confidence in her. And so they will they're removing their children from our district. So that's my concern. Yeah, but I understand feeling uncomfortable in a employment. It's 7 of us where we only have 1 or 2 supervisors or bosses, that's over us. So I can understand that as well, how she could feel uncomfortable and not have confidence in us as well.
Thank you. Trustee Crabb.
I'm fairly new again,
Okay.
but I do have some concerns that I actually think that, when you create a plan for something, you're supposed to that's a coach or anything, and you're supposed to stay there and see the plan through. Here, we have a plan that superintendent, she has the right to go interview where she wants to go. And, you have that God-given right to do that. But the thing is, you're sending our school district through a change, a big change, when you're moving the 5th graders to the middle school and all that, and haven't nobody really thought about that. But if I'm going to set a plan out, I'm going to at least be out there to see it through and have confidence behind it. And from what I'm thinking about right now, I think that plan need to be ditched until we find out what she is actually what she's going to do. We got to have a commitment from her before we go on with anybody's plan. And then it'll be unfair for the new superintendent, whoever we bring in, to have to go by this reimagined plan. It's something that he had nothing to do with. So if we bring in somebody, let them have their own creative ideas. And it's nothing against her, but that's just like setting somebody out in a boat and saying, you're going to travel the seas around the world and everything, and I got the map to it, but I'm not getting on the boat with you. And it's just as simple as that analogy right there. And when you're seeking 2, 3, 4 interviews, you're not comfortable. whether it's the board or wherever it is, and your heart is not there. Bo Schembechler said it back then. I want a Pontiac woman here. I want somebody to bleed Pontiac. I don't want nobody that's got the searching nowhere else. When he said he wanted a Michigan man, when you're out there looking, your heart got to be here with these children. And that's me right there. And that's my personal view on it. I don't know logistically how it can happen, but I really think we need to dump that reimagined plan right now.
Thank you. Listen, I want to start off by saying to this diocese and to the community and those who are watching, first and foremost, this is not a discussion to discredit the superintendent because she's not here. That's not the intent. It's not what we're doing. But we all are aware that the information is now in the community. The information is now in the district, that there's been several interviews. Both myself and Trustee Terry at our superintendent discussion that we have on Wednesdays, about 3 weeks ago, we had this conversation with the superintendent, and the VP can attest to this. And we talked about not the fact that she has the right to be able to go out and seek something that will better herself or her family if she chooses to do so. But we ask her as a courtesy to just let us know. If anything, let myself and VP know, and we can inform the board. And then shockingly, a couple of days ago, I received a text message from Trustee Dooley indicating that another interview was being taken place. I've also received information from the community, outside of the community, that another interview is being taken place. Listen, the answer is to not do any or say anything, to not address this. Silence is not the answer. This is why I asked that we start off with the discussion on where we are with this. But trustees understand there is a proper process on how this situation needs to be taken care of and dealt with. Because listen, we have to ensure that everyone in the district, especially our children, are being taken care of. We have a superintendent who has made it clear to us through her actions that she's seeking to do something else. But for us to sit here and not do anything at all, seeing that this is taking place, then that's an injustice on what we're supposed to do in this district. VP Terry, I hear what you're saying, and I understand what you're saying. However, about 2 weeks ago, or maybe a little longer, we did show that we had some trust in the superintendent by unanimously accepting her evaluation as a board. We have shown in the past that we trust and believe in what she's doing. But now she has chosen a path to do what she feels is best for her and in her interests. Again, as a board, if we choose not to do anything, right, that'll be a problem within this district. Again, there's a process. I'm not asking that we discuss that we're going to terminate the superintendent, we're going to do this. That's not the process. I've had conversation with the Michigan Association of School Board, with the attorneys there, to create a timeline on what we need to do to ensure that we're prepared if the decision is for her to leave at that time, or if the decision is for us to say we're moving forward with someone else. There's an appropriate timeline that we have to follow, and we will do so, because we just can't do anything, not do anything. We have to. We owe it to this district. We owe it to the staff and administration. And most of all, we owe it to the community, and we owe it to the children. That's what we're here for, to ensure that we're doing what's proper for this district. And we have to sometimes make tough decisions. We have to. It's not about who we like, who we dislike. This board is about the business of this district and what we need to do. But from this point forward, we have to discuss, and we will, on the process on how we're going to get this situation rectified, taken care of, and move forward. That's what this is about. This is why I asked that we come in here and we discuss some of the concerns that we have, because this is huge. It's in the community. It's out there. And once again, it happened to where none of us were informed, and the community knew it first before we did. And I respectfully ask that that not happen again. We talked about this at the organizational meeting, that we want no more surprises. And it happens over and over and over again. So we have to make some hard decisions, some tough decisions, some decisions that some people aren't going to like, some may, but that's okay. But we have to be about the business of this district and moving forward. Again, I don't want, well, people are going to say what they want to say. People are going to leave here and say, hey, the board was talking about Dr. Leverett. She wasn't even there. She hadn't even said how. No. Your actions speak louder than your words. What you do tells us a lot more than what you say you're going to do or what you're doing. That's important, board. That's extremely important. So I have a proper, appropriate timeline on how we need to look at things and what we need to do to move forward. And we'll discuss that in a closed session. And then we'll come back. And we'll provide the information to the community and to the district on the decisions that we're making. But we're going to do it proper.
Point of clarity. I do not.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Point of clarity. To my understanding, unless we are discussing contract or work performance, that is not going in there to discuss the future of the district as it relates to superintendent.
That's not what I'm saying.
So tell me, am I mistaken?
No, you're correct.
So point of clarity, to my understanding, the laws that dictate how we can go into closed session, to my understanding, that is not a reason to meet in a closed session. And that is a topic that can be discussed openly, because we're not talking about work performance. That's to my understanding, according to the OMA law.
Right.
In a public setting, whether it's governance, a regularly scheduled meeting, but to my understanding, that does not meet the qualifications to go into closed session.
I agree. And we'll discuss the contract in closed session.
So point of clarity, we're talking two different things. So the contract separately will be discussed in closed session, but the other part of that, we can't mix the two.
We're not.
Okay, so the part of what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, the timeline, that does not meet the qualifications.
And exactly.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
I totally understand. I got you. We will. Yes, we will. But we'll ensure that the information is shared to the community, to the district, once we reach that. Okay? Any other concerns as it pertains to the superintendent? Trustee Miller.
Okay, so a few of the trustees mentioned lack of comfort. I don't know what job that you can go to and these are all factual things, not respond to your superiors, not report out in a timely fashion as dictated by policy. And speaking for me as an individual, and I've said this before openly, I'm not going to tiptoe around a job that I was elected to do because certain employees do not like accountability and do not accept standards and expectations from this board. Every email I send is quoting the policy, no personal feelings attached.
Correct.
But I'm intimidating, harassing, and causing a hostile work environment because I'm setting standards and expectations from our one employee. So who's making who uncomfortable? Who's making who uncomfortable when it is our job, as outlined in federal, state, MDE, and our policies, what we are responsible to do, what we are tasked with that duty. hell or high water. That's what we're supposed to do. It's not my problem that our superintendent doesn't respond favorably to us, because I'm going to respond in a favorable manner to my bosses, to this community. And I'm gonna be very transparent, as I have been since I've gotten here. And if I don't have the information because the superintendent is not providing it, in which I don't know what other employment opportunity you can have to where you could just, some people can downright just not do what they're supposed to do. But nevertheless, and this is all open. This is not talking about work performance. These are all topics that we've discussed in open. So uncomfortable, I'm uncomfortable because I can't ask for something as indicated by policy without being labeled as harassing and intimidating and causing a hostile work environment. Let's talk the facts. The fact is that our superintendent, it appears as if our superintendent does not want to be here. How many times we gonna let her throw that in our face and show us before we say, okay, we accept that. We wish you the best if that's what you want. My follow-up questions are, I understand that some trustees have said that we need to leave the decision to let her know, for her to let us know if she don't want to be here. If she get a job tomorrow, she's out. So why are we leaving anything to the superintendent that has no desire to be here as indicated by her actions? My other thing is that if we sit here with our hands between our legs, what is the succession plan? If she left here tomorrow, if she interviewed tomorrow and got that job, what is this board going to do while we sitting waiting on her to tell us if she want to be here or not? What's the succession plan? Who's in charge? Matter of fact, she's on vacation. Show me the email that went out that said superintendent's on vacation. Please refer to this person, that person in a row in my absence. Show me the email that went out because I didn't even know she was on vacation. What job can you work and your supervisors, whether it's all 7 of us or you as a president, not know where our superintendent is, how long she's going to be gone? Let's move forward. When is convocation? Give me the exact date.
That's part of my list.
So there is an actual date?
No, that's part of the list that we're going to talk about. I'm going to do it in a minute.
All right, I digress.
Okay, I'm doing
But
it.
it's things like that are within
That's
the next few weeks that just fell by the wayside.
I agree. I have that as part of the concerns. Yo, just a minute. Y'all said?
Oh, yes, thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, just to piggyback off of what Trustee Miller said, the reality of it is we talked about this about a couple of weeks ago when we had to freeze a vote on something that would have potentially caused people not to get paid or potentially caused a catastrophe in the financial part of our district. And we're sitting here in a situation where exactly what she said could potentially be our future if she quit today or tomorrow. We have no idea who's in charge or who's running the show and what to do. So I think for us as a board, it goes back to that old saying, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is a case of insanity. And we can't be insane right now to think that we can keep doing the same thing that's been done in previous years or prior to getting to this point and get a different result. So whatever the chain of command is, whatever the expectations is, I think now is where we set the standard and we move from that point, whether people feel that it's personal or whether they feel that she's under attack. For me, as a new board member, that has nothing to do with business whatsoever. I could care less. So at this point, I think most of our discussion and conversation should be based around what expectations as a board are we going to set? What is our contingency plan? What is our plan for a backup for A, B, C, and D based off of the forward progression of this district and the security for our community and our students? And I digress.
Thank you. And listen, one of the statements that I made when I was voting to this position, that no board member will leave this diocese or come to this diocese without having questions answered. First part of the process that I think that is important is once she's here, we can direct some specific questions to her as it pertains to her employment here in the district. Now, be prepared to hear. I'm committed. I'm here. But again, what I said earlier, but your actions dictate something different. I don't know. I don't know what she's going to say. But that should be the first order of business to discuss with her what's going on and why. We've had the discussion prior, like I stated. If there is anything else out there that you're interviewing for, as a courtesy, if you don't let the entire board know, let the president and or the vice president know what your intentions are, and we can share that information with the board. And I specifically ask that there be no more surprises. But it's obvious that those statements were not adhered to, because I had to surprisingly find out through an email, text message, and a call that took place. So that's my concern. It was just courtesy. I'm not saying it was disrespect, but that's the appearance. That's all I'm saying. Again, I don't want to badmouth the superintendent, but again, we have to be about the business of this district. I understand some trustees like the job she's doing, what she's doing, how she's doing, and what she's doing. That's fine. But as an individual board trustee, and not the president, I have some concerns based on what I'm seeing. Fifth grade move. Fifth grade move. Oh, you had another?
Well, no, I'm.
No.
That's what I was
Let me
Go ahead.
let me narrate first where we're going with this. I heard what you guys have said. I've heard your conversations, Trustee Dooley, Secretary Dooley, and Kraft. I've heard you guys' concerns as it pertains to the actual move, to reimagine, but most of all, the importance of the fifth grade move. That's a huge concern. So because of that, I invited Ms. Tanya Dixon, who is the Director of Student Services, Mr. Marvin Beasley, who's the Head of Facilities, and Mr. Bill Holcomb. And they would come forward. I invited them to this meeting because they were an integral part, or they have knowledge, or if not all, some have knowledge as it pertains to this move, because there are some concerns. And the reason that I asked them here today is that they'll be able to answer some questions that we may have. But here's the scenario. One, we know all fifth graders from every elementary, from Rogers, Harrington, Alcott, Walt Whitman, is being asked to be placed over in middle school. That's number one, correct?
Correct. And Owen.
And Owen. I forgot, yes, and Owen. Now, here is the current makeup of where we are with the move. Correct me if I'm wrong or if I missed something. Rogers, 1st through 4, is going to Harrington.
Correct.
Part of Owen, not all, 1st through 4, is going to Alcott.
Correct.
1st through 4 will stay at Whitman, but 5th grade will move to the middle school from Walt Whitman.
K through 4.
K through 4 at Walt Whitman.
Or Whitman. At all of the elementaries.
And all. So no one from Walt Whitman is going anywhere else but the middle school, and that's the 5th grade.
5th grade, yeah.
Now, Rogers is being renovated.
Correct.
Alcott, let me get this right. Not all of Owen's kids, because of capacity, from 1st through K through 4, not all of Owen's kids can fit at Alcott. Correct? Correct. Where are those staggered numbers from 1st through 4 or the 4th grade, where are they going?
So I believe it's about 70 students that will go from Owen to Alcott
To Alcott?
or to Rogers. But yes, it's been divided. Our transportation
No.
coordinator looked
To
at
Rogers once Rogers is complete.
Yes,
But where are they going now because Rogers is being renovated?
they will be with them at Harrington.
So they're going to go to Harrington.
Is that where? Am I saying that right?
Saying it
Yeah, right.
So Harrington,
Yeah, because
So Harrington
Rogers
is taking on
being
a-
renovated.
right? Because Rogers is being renovated. So Harrington's taking over a huge load. Here's my question. If the decision is made by this board that we not move the 5th graders, Walt Whitman returns to Walt Whitman, and we know we don't have enough room for Alcott's kids, 5th graders, to return to Alcott because there's not enough room to hold all of the Rogers kids from 4th grade. And I mean, Owen, where the Owen 5th graders going to go because it appears to be no more room because Rogers is being renovated.
Correct. You have all of the buildings now, are at capacity with the moves that have taken place.
Name the buildings.
Alcott, Walt Whitman,
All elementaries, which is
all of the elementaries are at capacity.
that's without
That's without 5th graders.
5th graders.
If you
All
of the,
buildings are at capacity right now. Excluding 5th graders.
correct. If you chose to move 5th graders back into those buildings where they originally came from, there's additional shuffling that would have to take place. So special education classrooms that got spread throughout the district, those would have to be readjusted. And just as a point to you, all of those moves have already taken place.
We done all of them.
All of the moves for the reimagination for this summer were completed in July. So we will also incur moving costs associated with shuffling that back in a pretty short timeline because teachers are coming back in just about 3 weeks. So
Trustee
that
Kraft
needs
was
to
first.
weigh in.
Trustee Kraft was first.
So realistically, it can happen.
What you
If
say?
you told us it had to happen, we would
We'd do
make
what
it
you
I'm
happen.
just saying, realistically, it can happen.
But it's your choice.
Yes, nothing's impossible. It's a
Okay.
lot of
then
shuffling that's going to have to happen.
It's a lot of shuffling and moving.
Right. Well,
We're going
here-
to have to figure out there's going to be some decisions that are going to have to be made on where students go because we have
Right.
one entire building that's offline.
Right.
So
Uh-huh.
Rogers Elementary is
It's
offline
offline
for
for a year.
construction. So we're limited as to where we can move students. And that was the issue from the get-go of where these students need to be transported to.
Okay. Well,
So nothing's impossible.
right. But see, my concern with that is that you're dealing with the middle school is actually going to high school because they're going to go 4 years, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And then they turn around and go to high school. What I'm trying to say is 4-year schools.
Mhm.
Then college, another 4 years. Okay, in the same spot. I happen to be a part of the change in 1975 when Wilson School was closed. And we were the first 6th graders to go to Madison at that time. And at that time, as a young kid experiencing stuff, I was really around kids that were older than me, and they were doing other stuff. We didn't have the necessary things as an elementary would have at the middle school. A lot of stuff was going on at Emerson and all the other schools there and stuff. We had to go play, even in sports, we had to play in elementary. All our activities was there. And, it's just I just feel like there's just too much of a age difference between, the fifth graders over at the middle school. And I just think the maturity level is, I think that would be, detrimental to our students. And I think that we need to really work on this plan to return our fifth graders back to elementary. Because first of all, we're out in compliance if they don't have a playground, for one thing. And we don't need to start paying fines to the state for anything. So that's just my personal.
Well, you say we're out of compliance because of what?
No playground at the middle school.
Is that?
I don't know nothing about that.
Yeah, that's a new
Yeah, that's-
That
compliance
wasn't our
era.
understanding.
Yeah.
It was never understand about that. About the playground.
So
So you say we won't be in compliance because we don't have a playground?
I mean, they're supposed to have a playground.
They're entitled to a playground, but I don't think we're. Yeah, I don't know if that's a requirement, but for recess.
They're
For
they're
recess.
entitled to recess break. It doesn't say that it needs to be a playground. It can be structured play within the gymnasium.
hold
It
on.
can be outside.
So
Oh.
there it is right there. There it is right there. There, by law we doing this, but then we shortcutting the kids.
No,
We're shortcutting.
no. Hear me on this. What we will do, we're going to move forward with this. But what we'll do is, Trustee Miller, as the chairperson of policy, I'm asking that if you can gather that information, it pertains whether it's a law, policy, that we have to. But I think that they do have recess. But I agree with you. We're selling them short by not having. What I'm wanting the board to hear, and I'm gonna, Trustee Kraft, are you done?
Let me think.
I'll come back.
Okay, and one other thing. This is an uneducated guest right here, and I just want you guys to tell me what would we think about, putting all the elementary kids inside of ITA and moving ITA to another school.
Now you're going to.
I'm just asking.
I don't mean to
asking.
laugh,
No,
but I'll
that's-
be
that's-
honest with you. So now, if you ask me questions like that, because the thing is, now we can say as a team, we worked on all those scenarios, and that was one of the scenarios that we did work on. So I'm just saying it's been worked on several times
Mhm.
about what we want to do and how to help this district with what we're doing. You know what I mean? So you saying that, I don't mean to laugh, but I'm being, we worked hard on that type of thing. But again, it was other reasons why things like that didn't happen. So, I mean,
Okay.
we're here to do whatever you guys ask us to do and how we can do it and tell you how to get it done.
I just had to ask the
No, you had to
question.
get, well, I don't matter what you
that's
said.
all. That's all.
And-
WHRC was originally designed
All
as
elementary.
an elementary
I
school.
know.
K
That's
through
what
It
I'm
five.
was.
talking about.
It
Correct.
wasn't all elementary.
Yes, it was.
It was. I went there.
Well, you just said something again. I don't mind saying it for our team that worked together that, yeah, we talked heavily about that.
What we did.
So
Now, before I go to Trustee Bowman and then Secretary Dooley, okay. The reason I asked them here is that I want them to tell you where we are, what we are in a position to do. Although they say they do whatever we want them to do, but I need the board to understand this. I heard you when you say you wanted to discuss this. I heard you. That's why I want to bring this back. But understand this. 2 schools now, elementary schools, are not being used. Rogers, Owen Kennedy.
correct.
Those 2 schools are done. And it's going to be not until the end of the year. My recommendation would have been to look at this move after next year because Rogers will be open. Because we all know and we understand because of the concerns with the Kennedy Owen building, it not being conducive to have children and staff in there. This board is aware of that, correct? Are we right? We agree with that. So then now there's 2 schools offline. And there's a lot of elementary kids out there. If the maneuvering is going to take place, if the decision of this board is that we're not going to send the kids, the 5th graders, to the middle school, if we determine that, we make a motion and take a vote, right? We have to understand there's 3 weeks left before school starts.
Correct.
So that's why I asked them to come in, because I heard your concerns. I heard you. But I want us to understand too now, if it appears to be realistic, it can be done, let's do it. Let's do it. But we have to take everything in account. All aspects of this. Okay?
Yeah, so parents have already been communicated with, so that's
Meaning,
something that we'll have to flip on where their students are going. So just, I mean, off the top of my head, the
So,
quickest
point of
resolution that I can
clarity.
come up with.
Point of clarity, real quick, before you go down that path, I think that was more or less just a statement.
right.
We're not trying to make any changes right now.
No,
It
no,
was
no. I'm
a
just saying, if the
statement.
decision, it's just to say, if the
It's a
decision is to
statement.
do so,
Right.
So
we
let's
have to
be
take a
clear
look
on
at
that.
everything.
Right.
Yes.
So that's what I'm
Okay.
throwing out there. Is giving you an
Okay.
option. So you could, at Owen Kennedy Building, potentially make that an upper elementary.
How?
So 4th through 5th graders, for
And it's not
instance,
usable.
could
How?
go there.
How?
It's going to cost money. I mean, that's
That's not, that's,
any of these discussions we're going to have are going to revolve
but
around
some
a
is going to,
cost.
but some moves are going to cost more than others.
Correct.
Yeah.
But will that building be ready for the fall?
No,
What Kenny on?
Yeah.
No.
Right?
At this
that's
point,
the point.
3
that-
weeks is gonna
So
be
let's
tight
not,
to do
let's
anything.
not look at Kennedy Owen, because even if we went there, first of all, it's going to cost a certain amount of money,
Yes, it is.
more than what we have, and it's not going to be ready anyway. So let's not even bring that out. That's
But
not
to
part
un-
of the plan.
To undo this.
To undo what we've done, we're going to have to place the students someplace
We do.
because we have nowhere else to put
We
them.
have. That's what Bill.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying to the board. There are a lot more kids out there than it is space to place them.
Right.
But the board still has the right to make the decisions or even come up with ideas.
Mhm.
This is why it's part of the agenda.
Yeah.
Because this is a concern of board members.
Right.
And
I
as
just
the
want you to have
president,
all the
My
great
alliance
options.
is with board members to ensure that questions and concerns are being answered and dealt with. And I'm going to say it again, like I said at the last meeting. You may not get the answers that you want to hear, but they're answers.
But Mr. Gross, there are also several scenarios that was previously discussed that everybody wasn't in favor with that can help maneuver some things also. But it got to be a conversation willing to be had about moving students around and
That's
where you're
correct.
putting students at. Because we stuck on elementary. To adjust some things that may not be just adjusting elementary, you may got to address some high school.
I agree. We'll
If
move
that's
into
what
that.
you want to do. Again, all this is a conversation that can be done, but it's what you guys are willing to do and what you want to deal with when
Right.
it comes to making these adjustments. Because we can do whatever you guys want. But again, if we're going to talk about adjustments and what's the best way to not cost the district too much money, it's a lot of conversations that got to be had on where you want to put students at
I'm gonna
very quickly.
I'm gonna defer to Trustee Bowman, but here's the thing: what I'm asking you guys, and before we go into any discussion, here's what I'm asking, and I'm asking of the board. This is just a suggestion from me that if we get numbers back, anticipated amounts, anticipated start time, anticipated time of completion. If we make the decision, if that is the decision of this board, we're going to need those answers. Cost, anticipated time of start, and completion. And we have 3 weeks left. 3 weeks. Oh, I'm doing brother, man. Fifth
Let's
floor.
go.
3 weeks. I defer to Trustee Bowman.
So the question was asked, is it possible to be done? And you all said yes, right?
Yes.
And you all have done a great job.
So let's say this. So let's say, and I
Within
apologize.
reason.
But on facilities, right? Moving things is one thing. When it comes to curriculum and buses and all that, I don't know nothing about that stuff. That's
No,
something-
understandable within tolerance of your position. But from where your vantage point is, it could be done if a decision was made to reverse something and switch something up, right?
with certain caveats. So we have to be able to engage, bid out moving companies to move this because we don't have the staff internally to be able to do this.
We did the best we could moving this internally to save money, but you're talking about doing a move like this is very massive, and you're looking
Within
at
3 weeks.
we don't have time to bid it out.
No, and I understand that. But and again, my concern is when it comes to the timeline, I know we had a crunch, but the reality of it is the biggest issue for me is the safety of our children. When you talk about that move, it's concerning to a multitude of parents in this community because of the levity of what could happen and the opportunity for liability on the board's part where something can happen. That oversight is definitely evident when you talk about that vantage point from one to the other. Now, when you talk about logistics and how you set it up, I would defer to you all because you are the professionals at how this would be set up. My thing is the timeline is one thing, but if we're capable of doing this and it creates a more comfortable learning environment for our students and for our parents to be more encouraged that we are actually doing everything in our power to satisfy the needs of the many versus outweighing things when it comes to the needs of the few, I think that puts us in a position of leverage. And it also puts us in a position of comfort when it comes to knowing that we took the extra step for our students and we took the extra step for the sake of the safety of our students and our parents. And that is our main objective as board members, to make sure our students are safe. And when parents are taking their kids out, not because of the education system, but because of the fear of something happening, that becomes an issue for me. So I say all that to say when the decision was made initially, we didn't have a full board. We have a full board with a different open perspective from the whole community. So not to put extra pressure on you guys, and not to make your job more difficult, because this is not what we're trying to do here. But our number one objective is to make sure we give our children the best opportunity to succeed. And if the optics or the setup is not conducive to that, then decisions and change-ups will have to be made eventually based off of a potential issue. And again, we want to put ourselves in a position of being proactive, not reactive. I think we've been on our heels for too long now at this point when it comes to reacting to things, when we can be in front of it and be proactive. So that is my stance on that. And I feel like if you you all tell me standing here that they can be done, I'm willing to look at all options that will put our children in the safest position and will benefit the overall narrative of moving our children forward and our parents being comforted by their children having the best opportunity to learn with no distractions.
I have a question
Go ahead.
though. This is for Marv and Bill. Are the fifth graders, they're in their own section of the middle school?
They're in
Is
their
that
own
correct?
section.
Right, so they're not even mixing and mingling with the other grades.
No,
And so I pose this question too, and it's just food for thought. We have ITA K-12.
correct.
Those kids in ITA, and we have teachers here, they cross all day. And we have preschool over there too. They have
Correct.
their own wing, but there are some students, some classrooms that are actually with the other grade levels, not just pre-K. So we have to think about that. What's the difference between those 5th through 8th graders at the middle school versus the ITA K, or let's say pre-K through 12? And these 5th graders are in their own wing. And we talk about safety. If we pull those 5th graders back and put them into those schools, we're looking at the 5th grade classes being over capacity. They're going to be sitting on top of each other, where we probably have to create classrooms divided up a gym or the auditorium. And then we have to think about, and I'm sure this is something that the teachers may want to talk about too, their contracts. If we were to take the ON students and put them with everyone else, correct me if I'm wrong, but that Dr. Devison, according to contract, and the teachers are here too, the capacity for 5th grade is how many? Is it 25?
30.
Is it?
30 for 5th grade?
Is it 30? Okay. We'll be going over that. So now we're talking about something different where we have to pay for the teachers for being over the class size. So there are so many things that I wish we would have discussed
Prior.
months ago.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Before
It's planned, and we didn't just wake up.
And I'm gonna let T
say,
speak.
"Oh, we talked
Before
about
Trustee
it."
Bowman continues, and then T can go next. I need you guys to understand there are 2 new board members here that was not part of the process.
Correct.
So they have ideas, and people are coming to them. This is why I wanted this discussion to be had today, so we all can have the same message, same information, and not at different times. Because the hope is that this diocese will continue. However, this is why I asked that you guys be here to talk about this, because there is some pros and some cons. And although I'll be realistic, the move can't be done. You guys are going to say, because it can't be done, not in 3 weeks.
No.
Just say that. That's all. It can't be done. I know, hear what I'm saying. I'm not discrediting or saying anything to you guys that make you look. No, it is extremely close to being impossible for that done before the start of school.
Correct.
We're not saying it's not going to be hard.
It's close to being almost impossible to have this completed in 3 weeks, financially, start and end date before school starts.
And the changes that will have to be made, not just elementary
Absolutely.
schools, it'll take multiple
So
schools
that's
to
why I
make
asked,
a move this way to make it happen.
this is why I asked
Not
this
just student services, but student services are enrollment
What?
and transportation.
and transportation.
Yeah.
Trustee Bolton?
We understand that it can't happen in 3 weeks, but the reality of it is, if it was possible to happen, what would be the timeline, expectations, what uncomfortable
question.
situations would
Yes.
it put our parents in? Where would we have to pivot? Because my thing is, if difficult was easy, everybody would do it. And I'm not in a place
That's
of
right.
saying
That's right.
that
That's right.
difficult is a challenge. Difficult is just another opportunity to show how qualified and valuable we can be to making a success story out of this situation. So let's change the tempo of the impossible. Should come out of our vocabulary right now.
Right.
Let's look at the timeline and the logistics. We know 3 weeks is unrealistic, but what is a realistic timeline based off of what won't complicate the move and what won't inconvenience our parents for a long period of time, and inconvenience our students and our teachers for a long period of time, where the transition can actually be done in phases or segments that makes it user friendly for staffing, so we don't have to convolute this problem or make it extra complicated based off of a timeline that we know that is not realistic.
It's more logistics than even time, because again, we gotta be able to touch everything, because the school's being closed. It can't be this building can't be moved. These certain students can't be reached. It got to be where it's open to where everything can be touched to make that happen. So it's more logistics than time.
And we know based on the costs that minimally we have to bid this for 2 weeks. So we can't even think about moving things until after a bid is accepted after 2 weeks notice. So it
Again,
has to be
we
posted
know
for
this
2
is not
weeks.
going to happen in 2 weeks. We're not talking 2 weeks. We're
Okay.
talking
So-
what we can do to make sure that we have a true timeline or a true logistics standpoint on where the inconveniences is, where the challenges is, what we would have to do to overcome these challenges, so that way we can give people substance based off of a full board voting for this, not a partial board. Because you got to understand, when you look at perspective from the community, they didn't get a fair shake at this because they didn't have full representation sitting at this table that was either for or against it, based off of it wasn't a full board. So to say that this can't happen, I will sit up here and tell you that no, I'm not going to agree with anybody at this table. But to say that we figure out a way for it to happen effectively, then that's a better conversation that needs to be had. Time is of an essence when you're saying it boils down to logistics. So we all have to figure out what is the trigger points and the lever points to where we can put this all together and make it make sense. Again, this is not me dogging the work that you all have done. You've done a great job, and I applaud you for having to pivot and adapt in a short notice. But from an overall scope of who's all for this and who's all against this, we have to have a deeper conversation, and we have to look at this from a whole perspective versus just decisions that was made to lead us up to this point.
We need to definitely open up previous conversations on schools being moved. That would definitely.
So are we in an open, safe, transparent space? Can I speak?
Yes.
Freely? So my concern would be,
Nope.
What do you mean? No, I'm talking. Yes, they want to. Yes. VP Terry, this question was given to me by the Board of Trustees. So I'm asking that until they are satisfied with the answers that they're hearing, whether they like them or not, this is important. This is a concern. So yes, it's extremely important because they asked for this to happen. This is a meeting of the Board of Trustees, not President and VP Terry.
No, I'm in total agreement with you on that.
No.
I'm just saying.
Yes,
that
I think it's important for a deep dive. So
we don't have everything here to really deep dive into it.
yes, we do. We have enough to where this board can be either satisfied with what they're hearing or ask for another meeting.
But they're only speaking on their area.
That's okay. They're part of the reimagine. Go ahead,
Part.
Trustee Miller.
Okay.
Trustee Miller, go ahead.
Before we proceed, I have some very, very specific questions. VP Terry, I understand that you said that as if the updates for Reimagine have been in the committee meeting minutes for us to review, and I have reviewed those. My concern is can you guys attest for your own personal your program? Can you attest that what your area, your purview? Can you attest that what is being reported is what's actually done currently? And I'll be very specific. As it relates to the accommodation, let me ask, I apologize, let me rephrase that. What is the current status right now of accommodations for our special needs students, including but not limited to ADA requirements, the facilities that they need to, whatever equipment that is needed for them to be in a comfortable learning environment? What is the current status right now of where we are with this move? That's part one. And the second,
may I ask you real quick though? Are you speaking of the new move to the high school?
That's correct.
That's another subject. I'm going to talk about the fifth graders. That's a difference. That we're going to go into that.
Okay.
Well, that's where I'm going to bring you
Okay.
with me to go over so we can take a look.
All right.
That's
All
a
right.
different, yes.
Because I want on the record though. But okay, I digress. My other part of that is Mr. Beasley.
Yes, ma'am.
I remember when we had the final vote for Reimagine, and I specifically expressed concern about this was too many moving parts over the summer, and I was concerned that some things would get overlooked and things wouldn't get done in the appropriate time and with quality. And you said to me, we've completed projects in a nutshell, we've completed more projects, complex projects in a shorter time period,
Yes.
right?
Correct.
So what I just heard you say was, which is concerning to me, is that you said that you, throughout this process, that you did the best that you can do. That's concerning to me because if you were having some challenges, I'm assuming that you may have been having some challenges. If not, please correct me.
No challenges.
Okay, so my concern is hearing that you did the best that you can do.
It's a statement. We just do the best we can do. That's what we do every day. We just do the best we can do every single day.
Well, when it comes to our children, the best has to be to a standard. So
Yes,
that's where
ma'am.
my concern is that you saying you did the best that you can do, but does that meet the needs of our students? So I understand it may be a statement, but as a trustee, I'm taking it like, hey, I did what I can do.
No, it's not. I apologize if it came that
Okay.
way. We go beyond the call of duty every single day. I mean, seriously, our entire team does. So if that statement was said the wrong way, I apologize for that. But we work very hard every single day to get these kids they need. We go above doing that. We work with their principal over at Kennedy, Ms. Shields, been working with us hand in hand on a daily basis, making sure Kennedy has the things they need to start school with. And it's going to be a continued process, as we talked about to the board. It's going to be a continued process for that program, and we should continue to add to it. We're going to continue to work and make sure that program is successful, and we're doing it now. Again, unless there's some complaints I don't know about, we work diligently with that principal every single day, and we go over there every single day, making sure we get that building the way it needs to be done. Again, everything is not done overnight. We're working very hard every single day, but as I know, work with the principal, she's very satisfied with where we're at right now. We're getting that program together, and that's something different I haven't heard, and we continue to work together. Some schools even there, and we had no issues that I know of. If the issues came up, I was not aware of it. I work with the principal every single day until she went on
To
vacation.
the high school?
The Kennedy program. If there's issues with the Kennedy program, I'm not aware of. Like we made sure we made all kind of changes,
Okay.
added things, moved things. If there's something going on that we didn't know about, I'm not aware of it. If there was something negative in
That's
it.
great. I'll let trustee do, and let me speak on the behalf of that real quick. I had the opportunity to go over to Kennedy last week,
Mhm.
week before, like, because they were off. They're back this week. They were
Correct.
off entire
Last
last week.
Mhm.
I spoke with you the week that I went over there.
Mhm.
And the opportunity to speak with some of the employees, all of the employees there,
Mhm.
physical therapists, and that didn't, but the principal wasn't there at the time that I was there.
Mhm.
I have a list here,
Mhm.
and I spoke with Trustee Miller. I didn't provide the list to her, but I told her that within the next week or two, myself, her, Dr. Leverett, and you,
Mhm.
and Principal Shields will go over, because there's some things that I saw,
Mhm.
and we talked about this already, but I wanted to make it publicly known. And we're going to go over this list, because what I explained to the employees there, a lot of things that they're asking for could already be in the works. I don't know. Right? It could be asking for some things that's already on the list to be done. But it's about time and money.
Mhm.
Anticipated time of starting, anticipated time of completion. Because we don't ever want to give, we'll be done on this date, because when you're not, we're going to hold you accountable for that
Correct.
date. They were in agreement with that. So we'll discuss that when we go over there. We both have this list. And I actually have, I'm looking at the list here, actually from the teachers and the physical therapists. Yes.
The question I have is, we meet with the building principal. I
You do.
apologize. I don't talk to the teachers.
You don't.
The process is that's their chain of command. So anything they need or want, it goes through the principal with a work order system. We make sure we get it done. But everything, if it's deemed emergencies, we take care of that right then and there. Or if it's an issue of where it's an email sent or a phone call made, again, we're at that high school every single day dealing with Kennedy since the day they moved. We was dealing before then. But again, that I know of, everything the principals asked me, we have diligently been doing it every single day. And yes, it's a lot in progress, far as maintenance, far as new things over there, and we've added a lot of additions now that you guys may not be aware of, because we put it in my update. You read, we do updates every week.
You do.
And so it's on there. We put it on there. That
not to cut you
the
off,
Kennedy- I'm sorry, sir.
I need you to hear this. I want you to understand this. No way are we faulting you.
Mhm.
I'm not. Some people are more comfortable talking with certain people than others.
Okay.
I don't know what the miscommunication is with staff and their principal.
Mhm.
I don't want to say they felt more comfortable talking to me. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if these things were already given to the principal, or even if they communicated with it. I don't know. This is why I'm saying we will meet all together, including the principal.
Thank you.
And these questions can be answered, right?
Appreciate it.
Well,
Yes.
we all will be on the same page, because I don't want you to take any offense. I know you're not, but I hear what you're saying, and you've always been upfront with me.
Going to be.
This may not have been communicated with them to the principal. I don't know, but we'll find out together. And that's the purpose of doing this. And I know you are. You are doing what you can do within your realm.
Correct.
I'm aware of that. But again, listen, it is my goal to ensure anybody in this district, if you have a question, it should not go ignored. The respect is get an answer, whether it's the answer you want to hear or not, but it's an answer. Because when you don't, either you choose to ignore or you don't have the answer. So you avoid. That cannot happen in a school district when we're doing something, dealing with something each and every single day. So hear what I'm saying. I know exactly where you're coming from, but they felt comfortable to say, man, I have a list. So my purpose and goal is to ensure, and I'm not going there to attack the principal, but to find out what's going on and why. So let's open up these lines of communication. So everybody, not just you, me, trustees, can feel comfortable in being able to explain how you feel and what we need to do. Because if we can't, listen, and I'll go over to, let me see if you finish. Listen, I was taught that constructive criticism is good because it makes you a better employee and it makes you a better person. But disrespect is unacceptable.
Correct.
It is not my intent to disrespect, but to provide constructive criticism to anybody that works in this district, because we want everyone to be better. Okay?
Yes, sir.
That's what this is about. This is not an attack.
Oh, and I don't take it that way.
Okay. I just wanted, I heard what you said, right? But we'll make sure, because listen, in a school district, there's only one page, and we all got to be on it if we want to run this together.
I don't mind having conversations. I
Got
just
it.
want to be able to have a conversation. It's fine.
Trustee, Secretary Dewey.
So initially, I was truly against this 5th grade move. And I'm of the opinion you're either part of the problem or you're part of the solution. So what I have found, it can be done.
Thank you.
It's a model for transforming education. Ron Clark Academy. I am looking into it where they're going to pay for teachers to come and reproduce that, as well as the board. So I disagree with some of the things. I disagree with you saying that the 5th graders, 6th graders won't ever come in contact. That would not be a true statement. They may have their classroom housed in a wing that's not where the other classes, but they will intermingle because they have to go to gym and they have to go to the lunchroom. So unless you're going to build a separate gym and lunchroom, then let's stay away from saying they'll never have contact, because that would be a blatant lie. They will have contact in passing. However, moving forward, we want to move this district forward. And we already know schools are closing, this, that, and the other. And so what I did was sought information, went to look, can we make this work if we're stuck with this? So that's where I am. It can work. Can we realistically make this move? I'm not sure. I don't know. What I do know, we have to be supportive of our students. We have to make the best decision that will afford them the best opportunity. Now,
Right.
We know 5th graders in their progression of learning, they are entitled to recess. So we would not just put them outside with nothing to do. I don't know if that's a violation of not having the equipment for them to run, jump, and play. What we have to begin to do is to seek solutions that will best support our students, staff, and parents as the board. You talk about some things you guys will bid out, other things you just take. So I'm a little in between that.
If it's on your threshold, yes.
Yeah. So where I am with this, we have to make some definitive choices
Correct.
and execute them. So whether that